Thank you all for joining this session. We have a very exciting session for you today. Startup lightning pitches. What is better than that? I'm Dean Andrews. I'm head of developer relations here at InterSystems. My team runs our developer community, our global hackathon program, and our startup program. These are the startups that are going to pitch to you today. There's 11 of them. They're a great bunch of startups. You can interact with them after this session in the startup showcase, which is just a few feet away. I'd like to call out that all of these startups are doing amazing things. And just an example, we just had that demos and drinks session on Monday night, and both winners are here in this group and will be pitching to you today. We have a comprehensive startup program at InterSystems. It has these three pillars: acceleration, growth toolkits, and our own venture fund. But that's all I'm going to say about it today because we don't have time. If you want to find out more about our startup program, I'll be speaking in a keynote tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., and I'm going to talk about the details there. Without further ado, let's get started. A word of warning to the startups: we will have to cut you off at 3 minutes because we will go over this session if we don't. What we're going to do is Vita is going to show you a sign when you have 30 seconds left of your 3 minutes, and then she's going to hold up a sign that says time at the end, and we have to cut you off then. All right? Here we go.
Hi, everyone. 3 minutes starts now. My name is John Kamara. I'm the founder for Afia Record. Quick question. How many of you have access to all your bank details here? Raise your hands. Everyone. How many of you have access to your health record right now without thinking about any hospital in your pocket? Awesome. Only a few people. Now, if you think about this, one of the biggest problems that we face as human race is the lack of ownership of the most important data in our life, our health record. Everyone, 8 billion people in the world. And also the mobility of that data for effective healthcare to patients across the world. And if you think about emerging markets where infrastructure is expensive, resources expensive, data becomes the one infrastructure that we can use to provide better healthcare. So we at Afia Record, our mission in life is to build the next generation of dynamic EHR tools focused around mobility, sovereign right of ownership of the data back to the patient, and the use of that data for preventive healthcare. How do we do this? We build multiple platforms, and these are the problems that we're solving. In Africa, we focus mainly on the emerging markets, African continent, and one of the big problems here is the high cost and also limited healthcare data infrastructure. The products that we build everything ourselves. It's basically built for emerging markets where the cost of healthcare technology through like of InterSystems is very expensive for these small hospitals. So we build systems that actually allow them to implement these solutions without too much cost. And this is how we build the infrastructure. What we've done so far, it's basically we build platforms that also allow patients to have a MyRecord platform, which once you leave a hospital that has Afia Record, it will give you access to your health data and decentralize you. Yes, you heard my word. Decentralize you from that hospital so you take your data with you. You don't have to log back into the hospital system. So when you go to Mexico next week, you can add your doctor and say, hey, look at my information from Kenya. Look at my information from Ghana. And if you go to a hospital that has Afia Record, instantly the system will give you access to that data. What have we achieved so far? We have so many different types of tools, and we track metadata. And we're also one of the first few health platforms in the continent that also use external data. So we use geolocation. So we use the hospital as a single node of information. It's a single truth of health data. So we track geolocation, we track symptoms, and we track metadata. We've achieved so far 300,000 patients in less than a year and a half, 100 hospitals. We're in Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa. We raised our seed funding of $2 million in 2001, and we're about to go hit the 2 million mark this year in terms of the amount of patients we will power in the continent. And we're also expanding our businesses into 5 other African countries this year. Our opportunity is to become the health data infrastructure for the emerging markets. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Let's wait for the slides to show. Should I just press continue, probably? Okay, it was not the last one. You got the presentation. Yeah, that's me. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Isaac Cano. I'm the CEO of Health Circuit. Health Circuit is a spin-off company of Hospital Clinic in Barcelona, and we are glad to show you our flagship product, SurgiFit. So regardless of the latest advances in medical procedures, surgical complications are still accounting for 30% of the global burden of the disease. And most importantly, every year, more than 4 million people die within 30 days after surgery, which is in fact the third global cause of death. For this reason, during the last 10 years, we have been developing in our hospital clinic in Barcelona, our product SurgiFit. And what is SurgiFit? SurgiFit, it's allowing the healthcare professionals in the hospital to prepare the patients in the better way possible by being able to prescribe non-pharmacological activities to these patients. They are able to coordinate, so they are increasing the resources and their capabilities to do surgical rehabilitation at a scale. And the patients that are in the program, they can follow the activities remotely from home. We are doing a combination of exercise training activities, the physical activity promotion, nutritional balance, and psychological support. And we only need 4 weeks to generate a huge impact. We have developed randomized clinical trials in which we have shown a 50% reduction in surgical complications, a 2 times faster recovery after surgery, a 6-fold reduction in 30 days readmission rates. We have been able to improve the disease-free survival after a colorectal cancer surgery. We are improving the quality of life of patients that are waiting for heart transplantation, and we are able to generate direct cost savings of close to $900 per patient that is rehabilitated with us. We are in an active development phase, but we will get into production at Hospital Clinic in Barcelona this month. But we already started the roadshow and booking of pilots with hospitals in Europe, in Canada, and the US. In fact, during the second half of the year, we will have a pilot in Mannheim in Germany, in McGill in Canada, and ICAM in the Czech Republic, thanks to the support of Celestinus. So we already started to get some traction with initial pilots, but we think we're also in a good position because the OECD has generated a public report showing our surgical rehabilitation as a good practice to be promoted against the 37 countries of the OECD. I'm glad to be part of the co-founding team together with 2 medical doctors with more than 20 years of experience in digital health. But of course, this would not be possible without our technical team that is developing a cloud-based platform with zero trust architecture. Before I finish, I would like to say that we do all of this to make patients smile like Rosa. Thank you very much.
So hello everyone, I'm Alexander Strakowski, CEO and founder of iPlanner. At iPlanner we are using AI and postural data to change the way we take care of our bodies by using or applying just a 3 minutes program to correct the posture. So what we see here, we see that it's not about just looking better, it really matters how your body is balanced. So if you have a disbalance, as you can see here, you have many orthopedic problems, but we should look at these disbalances and not at the posture just from the side. So why do we need this? Because our current healthcare system is just focused on acute pain, on reactive treatment, and we need to make people more care about themselves, be more proactive, and mostly they should understand the why. Why should I do this? So iPlanner establish the root cause of pain. iPlanner show you your disbalances, and then you show, or iPlanner show you your treatment plan, how to make all this better. And we can save on this market a lot of money because normal treatment in a physiotherapy clinic is like over $2,500, And this is just the beginning of the pain treatment. And what we do different from all the others, so I will summarize this slide. We are holistic and prevent focused, and we save time from traditional healthcare practitioners. And this is really important. We connect hybrid, traditional healthcare, and digital health. And this makes us different from all the others. We are not replacing anything. We make things working better together. And plus, we are clinically tested, have a lot of trust among the market, and I am by myself a physiotherapist and osteopath that developed this method. And our team is professional, out of domain professionals and technical side as well as medical sides. We have an orthopedic surgeon in our team that helps us with his experience to connect also traditional healthcare with digital health. And our product is really easy to understand. Just take a snapshot. We show you the inside of your posture, provide you with your personalized treatment plan, and you get also the possibility to connect with your posture expert. So among so far, we helped over thousands of patients get our product ready to scale, and we are looking for partners in hospitals and insurances, because here we have right now also our traction, and this is where we also want to expand. Thank you so far. Let's make the world more healthier together.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan, CEO and co-founder of Lura Health, making the world's first wearable sensor for saliva diagnostics to non-invasively manage health. America and the world at large is plagued by chronic illness. It's a massive problem for individuals in the healthcare system. To effectively manage a lot of chronic illnesses requires continual data sets. Medical wearables are the way to generate this continual data, and invasive existing wearables have lots of consumer issues that people are willing to move away from. The world is calling for a non-invasive solution. Enter saliva, what we think is the most promising non-invasive diagnostic fluid. Saliva diagnostics is already a multi-billion-dollar industry, but just like blood collection all started ex vivo and now there's a huge market vertical for in or on-body wearables, the same thing is going to happen with saliva. It's a natural progression. NIH has said the oral cavity represents an ideal site, and there's existing research in the space. So why don't we have a commercial solution? The answer is because it's an extremely difficult challenge. Producing this type of technology requires extreme miniaturization, constant fluid submersion, chemical corrosion, and much more. And we've solved it. We've created the world's first salivary diagnostic wearable, a tiny in-mouth chip that fits into existing dental devices like retainers, aligners, dentures, implants, and more. We provide a full end-to-end data solution. Data in the mouth is transferred to a smartphone, and thanks to InterSystems, plugs right into the EMR. Just our first 3 markets represent a $27 billion total available market with oral disease, kidney and cardio, and diabetes. And this is our roadmap, a start in dental, catapulting us to medical like diabetes and chronic kidney and heart, and then our ultimate market is pharma for medication, therapeutic window monitoring, and efficacy. We have a B2B model where we plug in B2B to the largest suppliers of dental products, make them smart products, and implement through existing supply chains, allowing rapid scale. And we have a letter of intent from one of the largest public companies in the space. We're proud to be supported by some of the biggest names in deep tech, like NSF through multiple grants, SOSV. We have 2 letters of intent currently, negotiating our first revenue-based pilots, completed our first study, and our first patent was just granted, and the industry is ready for it, with publications in The Verge, TechCrunch, and much more. We have a great team of engineers, clinicians, scientists, top medical advisors, top business advisors, including Lou Schumann, former vice president of Align Invisalign, who's helping us get this technology out. Thank you very much. We're thrilled to be here.
So, hi everyone. I'm Lukas, and it's my pleasure to introduce you Maya. So, who was yesterday on the demos on drinks? Okay, so probably you know which problem we are solving, but this problem is listed in top 5 expenditures in all Western countries for healthcare. It's a colorectal cancer. CRC is the second biggest cancer killer. We come from Europe, and statistics says that every 3 minutes dies one European because of this disease. CRC arises from the adenomas, and adenomas doctors are looking for during the colonoscopy. Unfortunately, even experienced doctors don't see 20% of adenomas. It's quite a tough job. Try to imagine so dynamic environment which is still moving, and you are looking for such lesions. So where people can't see, technology can. So we developed Maya. Maya is AI-based intelligent endoscopy module which helps to improve adenoma detection rates, so we increase the quality of the examination and speed up the examination up to 20%. All of you are invited to see our booth in the second floor where we can show you how does it Maya navigate the doctor with the polygonal mask. What can Maya do? Maya can detect in real time plastic and flat lesions, in real time classify them so the doctor can act immediately, measure the size, even inflammatory diseases like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and in the end, Maya generate the report for the doctor in all of the findings. So doctor has position of the lesions, size of the lesion, type of the lesions, including statistics and, for example, bubble score preparation and so on. To be able to enter to the market, we developed our own device. This device is based on AI model from self-driving cars. It's a really powerful device. It has 12 volts from the automotive, so it's sustainable. But what is most important, it's compatible with all endoscopes on the market. So the installation could be done really fast by the doctor or nurse in 10 minutes. So there you can see how does it look, the real installation on the endoscopy tower. So our plans, we are going to certify our product in the end of this year, and we are already gathering data from the other endoscopy modules like urology, bronchoscopy, gastroscopy. So who we are experienced team. We have experience from developing other AI application from industry and transportation, and we would like to bring them to healthcare system. They are the founders, and thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Kenzie Butera Davis. I'm the CEO and founder of Maro, where our goal is to eliminate the 11-year gap between the first time a child shows a symptom that they might be struggling with their mental health to the first time they receive any form of treatment or intervention. Maro's technology sits at the intersection of families, schools, and providers to detect mental illness early. We're turning the medical home into the medical neighborhood through SDOH and mental health screening data collection, through family engagement, and through streamlined care coordination. Here's how we do it. We partner with school districts to facilitate clinically validated, compliant mental health screening at scale. We're currently screening for anxiety and depression. We're screening en masse, so when we work with a district, we can screen hundreds to thousands of students in one day. After screening, we follow up with students with appropriate interventions for their risk level. So a mildly anxious student might receive lesson plan content in the classroom setting to learn how to cope with their anxiety or stress. Whereas moderately anxious students might form an 8-person support group with their counselor in the school setting to have more targeted intervention. For those students who need outside clinical referrals, our technology helps triage referrals for both virtual and local providers. We're engaging families and reducing friction along the way through educational content, behavior tracking, and easy consent collection across release of information and screening. And this truly is our secret sauce, because we're bundling our platforms. We're not just scaling one school or one family at a time, but rather we're scaling by community. What we're working on now is we're partnering with InterSystems and our pediatric accelerator, KidsX, to embrace EHR interoperability and increase data transparency and data sharing across home, school, and health. This is how we make a true paradigm shift from reactive to proactive mental health care. I have the best team in the world. Sitting right here is Tariq Chowdhury, who's our Chief Medical Officer. I'd like to point out Dean Noble-Tola, who's been building predictive models in healthcare with the largest payers and providers for over a year. And then myself, my background is in strategy and ops across startups and venture capital. And I forgot to mention Tariq's background. He was the director of inpatient pediatrics at Kaiser Permanente and is in the C-suite over quality at Kentucky Children's. So if you'd like to learn more about our outcomes or our upcoming financing round, please follow up with either Tariq or I after the presentations. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about adverse drug reactions, ADRs. 2 million patients a year in the US face adverse drug reactions and side effects. 240,000 patients die as a result of these adverse drug reactions, and $136 billion is spent in the healthcare industry as a result. And so that's where PGX2 comes in. Our vision is to stop all patients around the world from adverse reactions from medicines forever. Our solution offering is a business intelligence software providing gene-drug interaction information, resulting in safe and effective pharmacotherapy. And so here's our report. Here's our product. We have brief recommendations that you see on the upper left, and that's just a general idea if a clinician is busy to see what drugs are safest for their patient. Next is the detailed recommendations that gives a bit of nuance to the situation and specific understanding. And then finally, if a clinician wishes, we have the literature that shows the in-depth analysis of why we are making these recommendations. So there's 3 facing reports depending on the level of time that the clinician has to treat their patient. And here's our business model. It's a B2B to C business model. We are partnering with laboratories and clinics to offer clients gene-drug interactions, harnessing PGX2 proprietary algorithms and analysis. In this way, these companies are already offering health data with their genetic services or ancestry, and we're giving them another solution to provide to their patients. So far in traction, we've treated over 4,000 patients in hospitals and laboratories. We've published 70 pharmacogenetic studies, including 2 big prospective cohort studies. This past year, 5 months ago, we launched in the US market with customer discovery calls in 10+ genetic sequencing companies. And we're really excited to launch that. We had our first LOI a week ago, and we have a couple more in the pipeline. So we're moving fast, we're moving forward, and we're really excited to keep on going. Myself, my name's Jason Akram. I'm currently an undergraduate at Stanford. My co-founder over there, Michael Zastrosian, he is the key opinion leader of pharmacogenetics with over 200 articles in the space and an H-index of 22. Thank you very much. Let's end adverse drug reactions. Thank you.
Hello, we're PID2. One of these startups is a little different than the other ones. PID2 is a data solution that does active identity resolution against a fire repository. It's a known truth that duplicate records are bad. They're really bad in healthcare. Just for patient safety, providers' reputations, and organizational reputation. If you're in the data game and you're doing integrations, you definitely know that this is a problem. Hospitals know this is a problem. If you're going to be doing business with hospitals, they protect their MPI, and they protect it well, and they also spend quite a bit of money. They also consider that 10% exception queue for manual intervention is a tolerable thing. I like this slide because it says that, I've worked with startups, and when they walk into organizations, if they have an identity competency when they walk in, that it's a smoother integration with their EHRs and their EMR systems. If you don't have one of these, you will sooner or later feel the pains of it as you start integrating with them. I like this slide. I used to use this slide to sell software, but you can get into some trouble if you start misdiagnosing, or you can't prove some sort of manual process or automatic process for intervention. I hit this market recently. I've been noticing a trend in something called a composable CDP stack out in the data world, where the world used to master the data where they send it into a central hub, and then they would ETL into a central hub and master it there. We're seeing a trend now to where the composable CDP, they're actually going data warehouse first, so the active data that is there, and then they're ETLing to their apps backwards. The second thing that I saw recently down in New Orleans that I'm tracking too is the hospitals are now establishing an identity outside of the hospital. So when you walk in the hospital to admit it, it's not the starting point. They can go out and call to certain services, and the patient can kind of own their identity when they're walking in. This was the original vision behind the product, was that we could snap into any FHIR server and provide active identity and entity resolution on any server. The second vision that's now deprecated is we wanted to launch out of like an AWS workplace. We have since deprecated that, and we're moving more towards including ourselves in the Databricks marketplace. And that's what we are trending to be part of that compostable CDP stack. Hit a bump in the road, learned some lessons with AGPL licensure that I did not know, and the team is feeling the pain of this, but it actually turned out that this became one of our biggest allies in understanding that. AGPL licensure is really there for, geez, really? To keep people from reselling things on clouds. Our pilot is a regional SDOH platform for the state of Michigan. We came in and had a couple of vendors pick Verado. We're now competing with Verado, and this week we'll know if we won it. Our pilot's doing well. It works on 2 backends, and we are now in full development mode.
Hello, everyone. My name is Einar. I'm a CEO of Priya, and the Priya offer is all-in-one health-at-home infrastructure platform for Medicare population. This is for provider slide. This slide for us as kids and grandkids. So think about your parents or grandparents. Now, Priya could offer them one interface which connected with all healthcare infrastructure. So starting from the hospital, insurance, nurses, and all the local service providers, even with a lift, which will bring them to the appointment. So we connected with RPM, RTM, it's a remote patient monitoring, remote therapy monitoring, appointment scheduling, telehealth, caregivers app, so whatever you could imagine. And that simplify the experience as watching the Netflix. This is something what we need, and each time when you call your parents and grandparents, you're asking, did they get the medication? Did they follow the prescription? Did they go to the doctor's appointments? So now you don't need to do that because we also add the caregivers for this network. So, and this is a little bit our story because our audience today is mostly the startups and InterSystem team members. So I just want to remind of the story. So in November 22, we acquired the Priya from Stanley Black & Decker. And into the Priya was invested $14 million and tested in 10,000 patients' home. And in December, thank you, Dean, thank you, InterSystem team, we received first investment from InterSystem. And in February, we did the migration of our software to the scalable tablet version. And in April, we launched in the HIMSS connection with the Epic. And Ron, thank you for your support as well. I just strongly recommend Ron. So, and in the May, a chief growth officer joined our team. Recently, he brought $100 million in sales in the leading US health tech company. And in the June, here in the Global Summit, we're proud to launch our new freemium model. And now PRIA is fully free for all hospitals and to the patient. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Waylon. I am the founder of Polygon Health. We are an early-stage B2C digital health company. Our vision is to turn health data into an asset, and we plan to accomplish this by creating a marketplace where people can plug in their health data and find personalized solutions to any challenge in their health journey. Now, this has a lot of broad use cases ranging from finding the right second opinion doctor, finding clinical trials that are personalized to your data, and even finding online patient communities. But at this early stage, we're currently focused on just one use case, and that's letting patients sell their data to researchers directly. We think that the timing is so right for a marketplace such as this for three reasons: legislation, investment, and culture. Legislation-wise, we're leveraging the 21st Century Cures Act, where effective of last December, patients must be given access to their healthcare information. So we see a world where 5 to 10 years from now, there's going to be unprecedented access to health data digitally, which will enable such a marketplace. Investment-wise, one of the greatest missed opportunities in healthcare is all of the dark data out there, and that's the data that the clinicians don't know about, the insurance providers don't know about, but the patient knows about themselves. And so a lot of investors are focusing on these kind of solutions. And culturally, 92% of consumers would use a service such as a service that helped them get greater control over their healthcare data. And so patients want not only control over their health data, but also control over their destiny. And so with that, we've built a platform that's out in the App Store right now in iOS and Android with a planned redesign launch in July 2023. That's what you're seeing right now, in 2 phases. Phase 1 being the first release, helping people get their data easily within minutes without needing to remember your patient portal information. So that's what you're seeing here right now, with a planned Phase 2 release to actually introduce the marketplace and have people plug it in if they so choose so. Given that we're an early stage company, we're currently finding our product market fit. We do this by doing top-down demand generation and also bottom-up supply generation. In terms of demand generation, if you were wondering, we are conducting a pilot for a study with a researcher who's willing to pay each patient $750 for their data. Supply generation, we plan on tackling adjacent single use cases for rare and chronic disease patients to develop a small initial network. We're not alone in our journey. We're backed by the Merck Digital Health Sciences Studio Accelerator. This is not only invested by Merck, but also North Pond Ventures, McKesson, and others as well. So we believe that this is a way to empower patients maximally through their data. So if you also believe in this mission, please come talk to Polygon Health. Thank you.
Everyone having fun? All right. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carl Osborne, an EHR consultant. I have my Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sherry, there. And we're going to entice you all to walk with us in a journey where we humanize healthcare through technology while we're empowering clinicians and saving healthcare a lot of money. The vicious cycle here is that it's no secret physicians spend way too much time in electronic health record. And because of that, they're getting burned out. In fact, 72% of physicians spend a lot of time placing orders or documenting within the EHR. Patients complain that providers spend their back, just like I'm doing, and they don't pay attention to the patient. And in such, it's leading with increased medical errors, patient dissatisfaction, malpractice lawsuits, which cost healthcare systems a ton of money. And so our solution, CCOL, which stands for See Clinical Data on Lens, mirrors augmented reality with the EHR. And how we do that is that clinicians wear a pair of augmented reality glasses, such as the View 6 Blade or the Google glasses I'm wearing, and it's integrated with InterSystems, Epic, Cerner, and Allscripts. Clinicians can say verbal commands and interact with the EHR, retrieving data and also documenting in real time. That's just one use case that we have. Another is that we have artificial intelligence where the glasses can listen to the patient's chief complaint and give a probability of what the diagnosis is. The next use case is teaching, right? What if I'm in a rural hospital, I don't have a specialist? Now we can do clinician-to-clinician consultations. With the glasses, residents or a consultant can listen in on their mobile devices or a laptop and converse with the provider looking at the patient. We see this with surgeons, hospitalists, and also in isolation rooms to lower contact and cross-contamination. We're not the only ones to dabble into AR, but we're clearly the only ones who do it in an automated fashion. And we also have artificial intelligence, and we use the EHR hands-free. With all of this, we're improving clinical workflows and outcomes. We started off in 2018 when we won Cerner's Code App Challenge. We've integrated with Epic, InterSystems, and now we have our first artificial intelligence machine called Mary. And with Mary, it takes clinical data and it tells verbally what's going on in the chart. Some of our awards and recognitions, we started off with Cerner. We're a part of Google's incubator. We partnered with View6 Blade, Epic, InterSystems. Our team is made up of an EHR consultant, a provider, and also an expert in augmented reality. Thank you. We'll be downstairs.